Good morning, I think. Looks like I've pushed the go button and hopefully somebody can hear me. Looks like I'm getting a thing that Humanity Healing is live, so therefore I must be live. This morning's talk for many of you will be about chaos. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can, so it looks like I have 12 people. I can't see the posts. I'm on my iPad this morning due to, Lois, morning. Rose, good morning, thank you for information that this is happening. And hence the subject of the chaos is quite apropos, as I can't get on Facebook, and Facebook has locked me out on both my laptops. And so it's always an interesting adventure to arise here on planet Earth and be confronted with obstacles, or what appear to be obstacles in our life path. Good morning, Gabriel, Sarah, Howard, Haley. Bless you all. It's such a joy to be here with each of you, and I enjoy these Friday morning talks. Because we're all going through these amazing times and energies that sometimes defy all reasonable thought patterns and expectations of what we've been taught. The energies right now in the universe are I'm beginning to believe the whole universe is evolving. It's not just humans. It's not just planet Earth. Everything is evolving simultaneously. And as a result of that, when we look at what we're going through personally, many of us are going through some very troubling periods, and where frustration and anger arise, and our dreams and plans are not manifesting. And that's not for all of us, and because most of the time it balances out. But it's really frustrating sometimes to plan and work diligently towards a goal in your life and have a dream and want to manifest that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, what appears to be this whirlwind of chaos, or I call it a tornado, comes and rips through and tears everything apart. And you feel defeated. And so as I talk into this talk, I realize that defeatism is really powerful, and a lot of people are experiencing that. And so today's subject is rising above the chaos. And so let's define chaos by the dictionary or the standard methods, and it's complete disorder and confusion. And usually when we get hit with massive explosive energies, and I'm not going to say they're good or bad, but just energy, sometimes what it does is it shatters everything, our thought forms, our ideas of what is reality versus illusion, and we go into this disorder and confusion, and that's chaos. It's behavior that's so unpredictable as to appear random, owing to great sensitivity to small changes in conditions. Well, for some of us, those are not small changes anymore. We're pretty accustomed to small changes in our lives and in our situations. Right now, it seems like these changes are massive. They're overwhelming for many. And how do we regroup? How do we come back into a resonance within our own self that says, I can do this. I can get through this. I can make it through what appears to be this just horrendous field of energy that is stopping me at every move I make. And so while mine was pretty mundane, it was upsetting to me with computer and technology and etc. It brought this message forth to make me realize that just because I'm able to move through chaos doesn't mean everybody else is. So how do I find that space within myself? And this is what we have to do. It's a space within ourselves that we're seeking and searching for, that brings us to a place of harmony and balance in the midst of the chaos. And there are many ways, many teachings of how to do that, and most of you have probably read more than I have as to how to recenter yourself and how to take your thought patterns and detach them from what's going on around you and bringing them back into focus into what's within you. And so this is part of the process of rising above the chaos. The chaos is perfect. It's the power of creation. It's everything comes out of the chaos. It's random energies moving in patterns that we can't understand from our human perspective. They may have a logical sequence, and they may not have a logical sequence. Their effect, however, is felt by all living forms. So we're not alone in this. The plants, the animals. I was awakened by a dog in my face who, when I got up, stole my spot. She didn't want anything. She must have been sensing my chaos and said, you get up because I want to go back to sleep. Your chaos and your dream time is disturbing me. It's amazing how we each affect each other. And this is why it's important to rise above the chaos. Because when we're in a state of chaotic energy, we actually raise the level of chaos. And so it's relatively unpredictable chaos. Happens in the moment without warning or predictable outcome. And for us, it's very, very, very unnerving. Most of the time, it occurs when we're find a better way to either communicate with each other or to understand each other or to express ourselves. And in those moments, what happens is the social fabric of humanity becomes inundated with fearful thoughts and lack of trust. Part of the key for moving through the chaos is trusting. And this morning I grabbed books that I've read for years, and one of them is the Course in Miracles. And in the manual for teachers, it's at the back of the book, and it's for those who have done the course and want to help, continue the teachings. it says it's a development of trust. And it says, first, they must go through what might be called a period of undoing. And I think that's where we're at right now as a collective humanity. We're in a period of undoing. And in that period of undoing, what's happened is all that has ever occurred for humanity is coming to be present within the light of our minds. We're beginning to see not just our own ability or inability to do things, but the whole collective of humanity. And many of us are overwhelmed by that amount of energy. It adds to the field of chaos. And so when we're in that doubting and when we're in that self-reflective energy, we forget. We forget who we really are. We really forget the amazingly powerful beings of light and love and peace that we really are. And you'll hear me say that over and over again. Each one of you have so much personal power. It's yours. There's a collective power, but each one of you have a personal power that you need to start trusting again. The chaos diminishes or erodes our ability to find it. It's there. It's always there. So the message is we need to go within. We need to go within ourselves and call back the identity, the true identity of who we are, and separate ourselves from, or distance ourselves rather than separate, but distance ourselves from the chaos so that we can come to a place where we can look at it from outside of it. Okay? And when we do that, it's similar to watching television. I don't watch television. Very rarely do I watch television. I haven't done that for probably 15 years. I'm social media or the computer, but I don't watch that because it's programming, and it programs parts of me that I no longer even relate to. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but what I learn in that is that it contributes to it contributed to my personal chaos, so I eliminated it. And this is what happens, is if we can go inside and start to realize, what is really triggering the chaos within me. And then ask ourselves, where and how can I affect that or change myself so that it no longer affects me? And if we can't find a way or we can't escape it, then we need to unplug it and turn it off, just like the television. If it bothers you, turn it off. If Facebook bothers you, turn it off. If whatever's going on in your household, it's not so easy to turn off because you're live. But find a place within yourself where you can not hear it as loudly or not feel it as deeply. And find that place within yourself that says, I have no clue what this is all about. Surrender, a place of surrender where we can surrender within ourselves. Nobody's going to hurt you inside here, inside yourself. Your mind may drive you crazy. I point to my head because I have to be careful. That's where the mind dwells. But it's like within ourselves. Let me point to my heart. Within our hearts is probably the better way of looking at this. Is within our hearts, Find that place within our hearts that says, I love you. I love you, Charlie. I love you, Mary. I love you, Marlene. I love you, Anjana. Those are the names I'm seeing. So within you, begin to find that place within your heart, within your soul, within your body, however you want to look at it or express it, where loving ourselves is not selfishness. Loving ourselves is really honoring ourselves. It's really respecting ourselves. It's really the source of love. And the answer to the chaos is love. We don't have to love the chaos, but it's coming back to a place of honestly loving ourselves at a much deeper level than we've allowed ourselves, because the chaos it's like erosion. It's like corrosion. It's like having something grating on you, and pretty soon you have no skin left, so you're very raw and sensitive. That's what chaos does. Doesn't do it with any intention to harm. That's just the nature of chaos. Out of that, stripping away that of new growth and new life comes forth. This is evolution. This is what's happening universally and within ourselves. What I wrote this morning was, how do we find the truth in the midst of chaos? The answer is we can't. We have to rise above it or find a focus point which is still balanced. And that's going to be found in our hearts. We may not think it. We may be suffering what we think is pains in our hearts through loss or distortion or anger from people being angry at us, or we've lost a loved one, or we just don't have enough to survive. We're broke, or we're homeless, or all of those things. I've experienced all of those, and none of them are easy. None of them are anything that I would have wished upon myself. And they were all part of that chaos. Yet, when you come through that and stand on the other side of it and look back, you realize that, wow, that was a period of growth in my life. And if it wasn't for the chaos, it would never have pushed me out of my comfort zone or my destructive zone, because many times our comfort zone is destructive. It's a limited field where we think we have everything we need and everything we want and everything is perfect and it's just going to stay like that forever. It doesn't. We evolve. However, that good part of us that's in our hearts and in who we are, our souls, that stays. And that's what we need to carry forward. Not the stuff, worry about the stuff we're leaving behind or the stuff that's interrupting what we're doing. Like this morning, this chaos it drove me crazy this morning, and every time I go to do this show, there's an interference. It's amazing. And this morning I said, well, maybe it's time for me to stop talking. Maybe this is the end of this journey. I've been here for a year talking, and maybe it's over. And can I accept that? And I says, yeah, I can accept that. Maybe there's something else for me to do. And in the midst of all of that, I said, Charlie, that's surrendering to the chaos. That you're going to let the chaos dictate to you what you're going to do. And that's my message to you. Don't allow the chaos to dictate to you what you're going to do. Look within your heart. Find the love. Find the love of what you do. And work on that. Even if the chaos limits the amount or the way you do it. It's not about that. It's about you honoring the truth and respecting and loving yourself that gets us all through this chaotic period, time frame in the growth of humanity. It came to love, and it's funny how I said, I asked my guides for an acronym, which they usually do give me, and I said, I never asked one for love. I says, give me a message for love today. And so the words that came through, which represent one of the letters, was this: light overcomes voluminous expansion. And I said, wow, I don't know if I understand that. And so I sat with that. Light overcomes voluminous expansion. What is chaos? Chaos is really the expansion of the universe. This is life. It always, everything, when you read about the story of chaos, everything came out of chaos. That was the beginning. That was the energy. It was the patterns. It was the blueprints. It was everything arose out of chaos. And what has been the constant thing in chaos that has overcome it? No matter how massive chaos is, or the universe or the multiverse has become, that voluminous expansion, just like in our lives, the chaos in our lives seems to be this voluminous expansion. It's getting worse and worse and worse. What overcomes that? Light. And light is held in love. When we love somebody or we love something, it's a channel for our divine light to shine through and create a blessing. I don't have any teachings to verify this. This is what I do. When I work with land or healing or people, the first thing I do is allow myself to love them. Love them no matter what they say to me, no matter if they're angry with me, no matter if they want to kill me, no matter what they want to do, is to love them. And in that moment of love, I call on the divine light that I am, that you are, to flow through into that moment. And what happens is a stabilizing effect. It overcomes the chaos. It changes the whole energetic frequency of everything we're doing. I had no expectations of what I was going to say this morning, or how I was going to say it, or how I was going to express it. I'm actually going to definitely have to listen to my own talk today, because my impetus for this talk was my own confrontation with chaos. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you are. This is where we are. And in this process, each one of us step into that sort of higher dimension of trusting ourselves. Yeah, maybe I don't trust this third dimensional self that I may not be all that thrilled with. But there are higher dimensions of ourselves that we can know and trust, because they're not dealing with chaos. Chaos doesn't exist on those levels. There may be interference, there may be different frequencies, etc., that to us on this human level, this physical human level, we would think of them as being pretty chaotic. But in those dimensions of ourselves, they're just everyday life. It's here where the tornadoes and the cyclones of chaos rip us up out of the safety and the comfort zones of our lives, spin us around, throw us against the walls or 70 miles away from where we once were a few moments ago. And then we go back to where we were. And the silly part is, many times we go back and rebuild and do the same thing over again. That in reality, the chaos was really tearing us apart from, to remind us that there was something more to be, or something more to explore within us. Course in Miracles quote was, "Give up what you do not want, keep what you do." So when chaos arises in your life and you're faced with it, look at it as something that exists, has the potential to be extremely destructive, like a tornado, but you do not have to get caught up in it. You, each one of us as individuals, you, me, all of us have the power and the potential to honor ourselves and love ourselves and say, no, I'm not going to allow you, chaos, to take away my divine light, my divine love, my divine peace. I will stand with you, I will sit with you, but I'm not going to join you in your destructive behavior. Because ultimately, the only person we ever destroy is ourselves. Loving ourselves from within and at a higher level brings about the trust in ourselves that we need, not only to defy chaos, but to encourage us to move forward along the pathways that our hearts want to express in. And this is our evolution. We will say goodbye to many things. Just as we did when we were children, we had to say goodbye to our favorite toys, to our favorite rooms, or favorite things. And yet we found new ones. We found the same joy, the same passion, the same emotional stability in new things. But it was very chaotic for us to leave from becoming a toddler to a school child, from a school child, to be a college person, or to go into the workforce. Each one of those were chaos. And we're still here. Chaos does not kill us. We're the ones who destroy ourselves by not honoring the truth and the power that we truly are. And so that's pretty much the message, is when we come back to that trust and to that love, of that divine self we are, we begin to remember respect. And the word of the day for me yesterday was about respect. And I said to somebody, I said, we've lost respect for ourselves. And in losing respect for ourselves, we've lost respect for others. And by losing respect for others, we've lost respect for life entirely. And this is where we are, and this is why the chaos is trying to awaken us to dive deeper into our hearts, love ourselves, respect ourselves. And in doing so, we bring it back into a balance. Yes, there will be times when it's like a seesaw, but it's very hard to fling the person off the seesaw. So we'll bounce, we'll have bumpy rides. There will be others who try to throw us off that balance. But it's important to remember that we are so amazing, so definitely amazing as human beings that it's hard to even put into words. There was something I was going to read, and I don't even know where I put it. Oh, here it is, as I close. And it's a message called I Am That I Am by Eli Ciara. I was and I am what I have always been. A beginning without beginning, from eternity to eternity. In an unmoving now, continuously regenerated. I was and I am endless perfection, sacredness, recreated moment to moment. The boundless aliveness in constant evolution as a sacred fulfillment. Does the boundlessness of these words baffle you? Leave your mind aside if you want to experience these hallowing invitations with me. For only thus can you encounter the sacred sparkles. You are our spark, a part of me, sacred essence. I and you are one, a perfect union, constant freshness, an integrated structure. We are aliveness as a real experience. There is no other way to encounter me. Only by being unity in sublime harmony, the expansion of self-knowing, when we become the whole, unlimited, immense. We are pure consciousness in the moment without any prior purpose or effort, created by the vicious ego pursuing a goal, always egocentric, small-minded, and confused. The all-encompassing, lucid, watchful attention offers us clarity and holy harmony. Thus you reach me in your innocent nature, and the whole being becomes joy. From now on, you are one with me, a universal whole, illuminated each moment, simply being in the present by creating and recreating each moment. The sublime is more sublime, constantly and perpetually. And that is not chaos. That is unity and harmony and oneness and who we are as that I am that I am. And with that, I love you, and I bless you, and I thank you. And please look at the chaos differently and know that it has no real power over you. But it does have the message for you to move deeper into yourself, into your heart and soul. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. Until next week, be at peace. Take your challenges, face them without fear, and know that you are love.